All right, lesson 3, non-adjacent angles. Remember, adjacent angles are angles that are next to each other. Non-adjacent, maybe they are not right next to each other. Then what are you going to do? Well, we'll find out today. Just know that they are called non-adjacent angles. Pretty simple. Adjacent angles next to each other. Non-adjacent means they are not right next to each other. So given that a plus b are numbers and it says they add up to 180, remember that's supplementary, what statement must also be true? So take a minute and see if any of these 4 statements must be true from 2 angles that are supplementary. That's the only information it gives us. Okay, if you need a little longer time, why don't you hit pause and take 30 seconds and figure it out, because we're going to go through them now. If I know one angle, let's say it's 50, can I get the other one by taking 180 minus 50? Yes, certainly can. That one should be always true. Does a minus 180 always equal b? Well, let's say a is 30. Is 30 minus 180 going to be b? No, not true. It says it must be true. That would give us a negative number. Next one, 360. If I double a and I double b, will it equal 360? Well, if they equal 180 and I double both of them, it should certainly equal 360. That's true. And do they always have to be 90? I mean, that's certainly possible. They both could be 90. That does equal 180, but does it always have to be that way? No, certainly not. Question 2. Use anything that we've learned and come up with identifying a couple pairs of angles that are complementary or supplementary. Well, let's do supplementary first. How about? So what do we know about, let's say, this angle and this angle? Angle DAB and ABC. Well, remember, those would be called adjacent angles. They are next to each other. I would say those 2 angles are supplementary with each other because they will add up to 180 degrees. And how about this side? Remember, this is 90. So what must be true about those 2? Remember, triangles have to equal 180. So these 3 have to equal 180. If this is already 90, that means these 2 have to add up to 90. So that makes those 2 complementary. All right, it says use a straight edge to draw intersecting lines. Use a protractor to measure all 4 angles. We do not need a protractor. Here's what I want you to draw. Say 1 pair. Just 2 intersecting lines. Fine. 2 intersecting lines. I'm going to just come up with an angle. I'm not going to measure it. This one looks to be obtuse. I have about 90. Maybe I'll go with 120. Okay, so what if I said I want to figure out what angle A is, angle B is, and angle C is? Believe it or not, with just one angle, I should be able to get the other 3. Okay, and we're going to have more terms here we're going to discuss. But notice how these 2 make a nice straight line, a straight angle. So that means these 2, A and 120, must be supplementary. They have to equal 180. So A would be 60 degrees, because 60 plus 120 is 180. Look at these 2. They make a straight line as well. So that means these 2 have to equal 180. And these 2 have to equal 180. And if I go all the way around all 4, what's that going to equal? 360. All those should add up to 360. Okay, notice the ones across from each other are also equal. That's pretty crazy. We're going to talk about a special name for those. Let's do one more. Draw another set of intersecting lines. And let's say this one is 15 degrees. Go ahead and label the other 3. We're going to call it X, Y, and Z. So hit pause here for a minute, fill that out. All right, so again, these two are supplementary, so they have to equal 180. So that should be 165. Those two added together equal 180. This would be 15. These two equal 180, and these two equal 180. So again, once you have one angle, you can figure out the other ones fairly easy. Next question. This one you're going to get together with a partner. Okay, so you're going to hit pause right now once you have a partner. Hit pause. Pause it. All right. Probably should have told you the rules before I hit pause it, huh? All right, so hopefully you didn't listen, I guess, and you can follow the rules. So here, I'll explain it to you first. Your partner will work on one column, and you're going to work on one column. So you're only going to do one problem. Once you agree, you and your partner agree, you go on to the next problem. Your partner works on one, you work on one. Figure it out. Once you agree on both, you move on to the next one. There are 5 of them. Okay? So now, officially, hit pause and work with your partner. Ready? Pause. All right, so hopefully you got all 5 answered now. We're going to talk about them. Your answers should be the same. Okay, the first one here needs to equal 180. That should be 46 degrees. These two equal 90 complements of each other compared to supplements here. 46 degrees. These two as well. Notice how this makes a 90, so that means these two need to make a 90. So 51 plus what is 90? Should be 39. Same thing here. Tells you that these two are complementary in the problem. That means these two have to add up to 90 as well. So both 39. Third one, let's just look at this one. It says angle C and E are supplementary. That means they equal 180. So that should be 51 degrees to equal 180. This one as well. They all 3 make a nice line. How do you know it's a line? It tells us. That's a nice straight line. So that should be 51 degrees as well because all 3 of those add up to 180. Find the value of C, the fourth one here. These two have to add up to 90. These two add up to 90, but I'm only concerned with that guy, so that should be 48 degrees. Find the measure of angles CBW. That would be this guy right here. And again, it tells us that FW is a line. So that means those 3 have to equal 180. So that should be 48 as well. Hopefully you caught the 5th one here, the bottom little section. It tells you 2 angles are complementary. That means they equal 90 degrees. 37 plus what is 90? That should be 53. And here it says supplementary. So something plus 127 equals 180. And that would be 53 degrees as well. New term. And we kind of talked about this, how angles across from each other are equal. We had them on both of these. So a new term, those are called vertical angles. Vertical angles across from each other on intersecting lines. And vertical angles are always equal. So that means those two will be the same, and those two will be the same. Okay, they are always equal on intersecting lines. Okay, vertical angles, so you should know now complementary, you should know supplementary, you should know vertical, you should know adjacent, and then of course right, acute, obtuse, and straight. Next page. So if this one's 30, that means the one across from it should be 30 as well, and 150 across from 150. Okay, vertical angles. Take a look at your homework. 6 problems, no, 7. Don't forget the little arrow there on 29. Okay, we're only 10 minutes into this. lesson, so it's not very long. So here's what I want you to do to see who's all paying attention here on the homework. Okay, we are starting at 10:08, it says there. So I want you to put a little 10:08 for the length of the lesson to this point, and then put a little box around 28. All right, I'm gonna check that. We'll see who paid attention. So a couple questions here, again with angles. You're looking for B and C there, knowing what we just talked about. That one should be easy. Complementary, that'll help you find angle S, complementary. Question 3, if angles are both vertical and supplementary, can you determine the angles? So can they be vertical and supplementary? Can you come up with angles that are equal, that are the same, and they equal 180? Can you come up with angles that are equal and they equal 90? I think you should be able to handle that. Question number 4, matching. So each one of these match up with a simplified expression here on the right. Question number 5, a little review here. You are going to factor. So what do they have in common? So take a look at the whole numbers, and then take a look at the variables. So whole numbers and variables. Next one, number 6, I would consider kind of a challenge problem. It does say write an inequality and solve it. Okay, you're talking about a dance show. You need 7 students to work on a technical crew. And then you're also putting them in groups of 9. You need at least, there's a key that'll tell you which inequality you need. At least 6 full groups, yeah, so that should be all the information there I think we need. And let's all use the letter X as a variable in that one. So we will go over that, but again, I want you to try it. Okay, and then once you have your solution, see if you can write a sentence of how many students you will need if you are the director. Question number 7. Small dog gets 3/4 cups of dog food twice a day, so you're getting this much dog food twice a day. Using D for the number of days and F for the number of food in cups, write an equation relating the variable. Okay, so if you eat 3/4 of a cup of dog food twice a day, how much do you get per day? So the number should be able to get there. You should be able to figure out how many cups of food your dog gets a day if you're eating this much twice a day. And then how long will it last if you have 210 cups of food? So eating that much twice a day, how long would that last? So 2 questions on that one. Equation, answer of how long that will last. So that is it for today. Get that done, and I will see it tomorrow.